Hi friends, welcome to Yuvaguru English Theory Lectures. We have theory and practical, two separate types of video lectures. In theory we cover the concepts and in practical we cover the examples. Both this theory and practical together are useful for CBSE, ICSE and various state boards across India and outside India as well. Anyone who wants to understand English better needs to download this Yuvaguru English app. Let's focus on our today's topic. Today's topic is video number 2 of the under the topic participle. In first part we have covered the details about the participle, and in second part we will be covering the uses and some more additional things. Let's start. Use of a participle. It will be noticed that continuous tenses, that is active voice, are formed from the present participle. Okay, so just to give you the brief about the first video, present participle and past participle both were discussed in video number 1. Present is always present participle always starts ends with ing, and past ends with ed or t, mainly ed and t. These are the two main parts. So present participle is always in active and past is in passive. So continuous tenses are formed from present participle with the tenses of the verb be. Be means here this be doesn't exist in the sentence, but we have to understand the meaning of be. Be means it's a state. So I am loving, he is loving, I shall be loving. Okay, this ing is a present participle. Always be, see here nowhere be is stated, but be loving means this be is silent over here. Next is the perfect tenses, means they are basically which show that the completeness of something. So perfect tenses, that is active voice, are formed from the past participle with the tenses of the verb have. So have is used for past participle. I have loved, I had loved, I shall have loved. So for present participle be, for past participle have. Next, the passive voice is formed from the past participle with tenses of the verb be. Means what? Again be is silent over here. See here, passive voice is formed from the past participle. Means past participle always ends with d, ed, d, t. Okay. So I am loved. So I am loved by someone, I was loved by someone, I shall be loved by someone. So when it's by, it's a passive voice. So passive voice is formed from past participle with the tenses of the verb be. Now we'll see how these participles qualify the nouns or pronouns. So they can be used as attributively. Attributively means give some attribute. A rolling stone gathers no moss. His tattered coat needs mending. A lost opportunity never returns. See this, lost, then tethered, ed, and rolling. Rolling is a present. Tattered is a past, right? And lost opportunity, past participle. Okay. So they are all qualifying the nouns. Stone, coat, opportunity, right? So these are attributes, that's why it's called as attributively. Second is predicatively. So what is a predicate? A sentence has two parts, subject and a predicate, right? So they can be used as predicatively. Let's see. The man seems worried. See this, worried, ed, that's a past participle. Now it's being used as a this predicatively because it's forms a part of the predicate, modifying the subject. Okay, he kept me waiting. This is a present participle, waiting, but it's a part of the predicate, so that's why it said that it can be used predicatively. So up till now we have studied attributively and predicatively. Third way is it can be used absolutely with a noun or pronoun going before. Means absolutely means it is a perfect sentence within itself. The weather being fine, I went out. So now which is the participle over here? Being. Okay. So this is used as a absolutely for with a noun or pronoun. Important part is noun or pronoun going before. Okay, before means what? Being, whether. Okay, many have arrived. We were freed from the anxiety. Sorry, many having arrived, we were freed from the anxiety. So which is the participle over here? This arrived, ed. Okay, many having arrived. So many is used before over here. So that's why it's used with nouns or pronouns, means it qualifies the nouns or pronouns, and used absolutely with noun or pronoun going before. Weather permitting, there will be a garden party at the government house tomorrow. Weather permitting. Permitting is a present participle and weather is a noun. Okay, so noun before this participle. God willing. Say this. Willing is a present participle and God is a noun. Okay. Same. The sea being smooth. Being is a present participle and sea is a noun. The wind having failed. Having. So present participle and wind, noun. See this, noun or pronoun going before. It's always before this participle. The master being. Being is a present participle and master is a noun. The wind being. Again the same logic. Being is a present participle and wind is a noun. Okay. So when it's used absolutely, noun or pronoun will always be before the participle. See here, in all these four sentences, it will be seen that participle with a noun or pronoun going before it, right? That's what we discussed. Forms the phrase independent of the rest of the sentence. So independent of the rest of the sentence, his master being absent. So it has nothing to do with the remaining part of the sentence. Such a phrase is called as absolute phrase. That's why it's called as, it's said that absolutely. This sentence in itself up to this comma is complete. Means the wind, not complete actually, but it gives you some sense, right? It's not complete. The wind having failed is not a complete sentence, but it gives you the complete sense what has happened, and then the remaining part is dependent on this first part, right? That's why this is independent and the remaining part is dependent. So which is independent is always called as absolute, and the noun or pronoun so used with the participle is called as nominative absolute. Say this word, nominative absolute. Remember these two words, absolute phrase and nominative absolute. See here, this last part, absolute, there's some important point about this. An absolute phrase can be easily changed into subordinate clause. How? Say this. Examples. See this, absolute means it is independent. Now we are changing it to subordinate. How? Means which is dependent. Spring advancing, the swallows appear. So spring advancing is an absolute phrase, right? So advancing is a present participle. Now if I have to change this to subordinate clause, how will I change it? When the spring advances, that is clause of time, then the swallows appear. So instead of writing spring advancing, I will write when spring advances. Now this becomes a subordinate clause. The sea being smooth, we went to sail. Means I can change this now. Because the sea was smooth, we went for a sail. God willing, we shall meet again. So if God is willing, then we shall meet again. Clauses of condition. This is clauses of reason. Now what is a subordinate clause? A subordinate clause typically introduced by a conjunction. Remember this, introduced by a conjunction that forms a part of and is dependent on the main clause. Means what? See this. Firstly, I break the sentence. Introduced by a conjunction. So it should be introduced by a conjunction. Forms a part of and is dependent on the main clause. So it is always dependent on the main clause. Means what? When it rang, she answered the phone when it rang. Means when it rang, this is a subordinate clause. She answered the phone when it rang. So when it rang is a subordinate clause. It is dependent on she answered the phone, right? So what is independent? She answered the phone. Suppose if I put a full stop over here, she answered the phone, that's it. Then also it's a sentence. It gives you some sense. But when it rang, does it give you any sense? No. So similarly this can be used. Spring advancing, instead of this if I used when spring advances, so this becomes a subordinate clause. How will the sentence be then? The swallows appear when the spring advances. So when the spring advances comes later then. The sea being smooth, we went for a sail. We went for a sail because the sea was smooth. So this part comes thus later now, right? In fact, it can be first also, because the sea was smooth, we went for a sail. But generally, the subordinate clause is always in the second part of the sentence. You can call it as a predicate. God willing means you can change it to if God is willing. We shall meet again if God is willing. So it becomes the second part of the sentence. Earlier it was first part. So that was a theory on uses of participle in video 2. You can remaining part on the participle. We'll be covering it in video number 3 because the video is getting bigger and you will be getting bored. Okay, so download Yuva English app from Play Store to get these videos, test, question banks with explanations directly on your mobile. These video lectures contain theory and practical, two separate types of video lectures. The theory covers the concepts and then practical covers the examples. Both this theory and practical together are useful for CBSE, ICSE, various state boards across India and outside India as well. Anyone who wants to understand English better needs to download this Yuva English app. Follow us on Facebook on this link, WhatsApp us on this number for any query related to purchases. Keep studying, keep watching. Thanks.